talk about وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Our istiyanath and seeking help should also be from Allah alone. What does it mean? First of all, nasta'inu is from ista'ana yasta'inu isti'anatan. And the root word is ana ya'unu aunan. And the ism masdar from there is ma'unat. And ma'unat means aid, assistance, help. So, Qazi Bayzawi rahmatullahi alayhi writes in his Tafseer, al-isti'anatu talabul ma'unati. Isti'anat means to seek for ma'unat and help. And assistance and aid is of two types. One, daruriyah, and the other is ghayr daruriyah. The one which is daruri and necessary, ma la yata'atta al-fi'lu dunahu. Such assistance without which an action, a deed cannot be performed. كاقتدار الفاعل وتصوره وحصول آلة ومادة يفعل بها وفيها. Such as the doer, the person having the qudrat and ability to do it, and having the knowledge to do it, and having the tools to do that, and having that material in which that work can be done. You can understand that an engineer, craftsman, painter, electrician, plumber, he needs all these four things. Number one, having the ability. Number two, having the understanding. And number three, having the tools. And number four, having the material in which he can do that thing, with which he can do that welding or whatever, painting or whatever he's going to do. This is necessary. In Sharia terms as well, when all these are combined, the person is called mustati'. He is able to do it. And taklif and a command is only directed to a person who has this necessary components with him. This is why Allah said, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. A person is not told to do anything except that which is in his ability. So a disabled person, a crippled person who is unable to sit up is not mukallaf of standing up because he doesn't have that ability to stand up. He is allowed to pray whilst he is sitting down or whilst even he is lying down in hospital. A person who is not able to fast due to old age, weakness and frailty, and who's on his deathbed, then he will not be asked about why did you not fast, because he didn't have the ability. The necessary ability is what necessitates a person to do an action, and it will make it necessary on him. This is ma'unate daruriyah, help and aid which is necessary, without which a person cannot be called a mukallaf. And then number two, ma'unat and help and madad, which is not zaruri, and that is such assistance which makes the action easy for the person. Ma yatayassaru bihi al-fi'l wa yashulu. For example, a person is able to walk, but if he has a ride, then his journey will be easy for him. So, let's say if a person lives a few miles from Makkah Sharif and he's not done Hajj yet, if he was to walk it to Makkah, he can. But if he had a ride, it would be easier for him. So, the second aid and assistance is through means which can make that action easy for the person. Sometimes assistance which urges a person to do that action, encourages him. This in Sharia is called tawfiq. This is called khushnasibi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's special aid and assistance to a person to do something. This is called tawfiq. Now this is not necessary for a person to be a mukallaf, because this is second degree. It's not zaruri. The first one is zaruri, the second one is not zaruri. So both types of help and aid, when we understand that, we say to Allah that, oh Allah, we need your help in both ways. That which is zaruri and necessary, and that which is not zaruri, but if you give it to us, it will make our task easy for us. So please help us. Give us that urge, that zeal, that khushnasibi, that good fortune to obey you. Make our ibadat easy for you. Make our life for us. Make our lives easy for us. And this is why Qazi Bayzawi said it could have two meanings over here. Nasta'inu, we seek your help, either fil ibadat, because before it is the word iyyaka na'budu, and then it's wa iyyaka nasta'in. So it will mean wa iyyaka nasta'in fil ibadat. We worship only you, and we need your help to worship you as well. To pray namaz, to keep roza, to give zakat, to go for hajj, to do zikr, to read Quran, and to do amr bil ma'roof, nahi anil munkar, any good deed, teaching, education, even sitting in a dars of tafseer. We could have been sitting at home watching football. But no, we seek your help to come to the masjid and listen to the tafseer. Give us that urge and encouragement that we, get off our soft couch and then go to the masjid and sit and listen to the lesson. We seek your help in all forms of worships. Number 2, nasta'inuka fil muhimmati kulliha. Iyyaka na'budu, we worship you alone, and we seek only your help, nobody else's help, in all our lives. All our life, daily life, from morning till evening, in whatever we do, whatever important matter, task we are doing, we need your help. Whether it's related to ibadat, or whether it's related to work, or whether it's related to business, or whether it's related to studies. Whatever we do, in everything we do, we want you to help us. This is wa iyyaka nasta'in, and this is the highest form of tawakkul, i'timad ala Allah, and putting your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We number 1, 3 points here. Number 1, we humble ourselves before Allah. Complete submission and humility to Allah. Number 2, reliance and trust upon Allah, and the belief that Allah is sufficient for me. Allah is sufficient for me. He can do everything for me. He has the ability to do it. It's up to me to turn to Allah and ask Him and cry to Him. When I beg Him, He will be there for me. He will do whatever I need. And number 3, handing over our affairs to Allah. Like if you have a case, you give your files to the wakil, lawyer, solicitor, barrister, and he does everything for you. You don't need to do anything. So tawakkul means making Allah your wakil, your solicitor, your lawyer, your barrister. Allah, you are my barrister. I have handed over my matters to you. I want you to take care of me. But just look after me, protect me, take care of me. I don't want anybody else. I want you. This is the highest form of tawakkul. So iyyaka nasta'in will have all 3 things. We humble ourselves to Allah, in front of Allah. We know, and we deep down our hearts, we believe that He is al-kafi, He is sufficient, He knows everything, He has the ability to do everything, He can do everything. And number 3, then we hand over all our affairs and matters to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the meaning of wa iyyaka nasta'in. we seek help only from you. We will turn always to you and we will need you. This is why, sometimes students ask for dua. Maulvi sahab exam che dua karjo nahi. Kai padhwanu hai to do nahi. Kuch padhne ka ho to do. Anything I can read. So we give them various things. Read these. This will help. This will help. If you get stuck, read. Ya Muallima Dawood, allimni wa ya Mufahhima Sulaiman, fahimni. O educator of Dawood, educate me. O the one who gave the fahm and understanding to Sulaiman, give me the understanding of this matter. This is the meaning. Just read that and ask from Allah. Read it few times in your heart and mind. Or when you are stuck in any problem, just repeat as much as you can. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum bi rahmatika astaghith. O Hayyu Qayyum, it is in your mercy do I seek assistance and help. Istaghatha also means to cry out for help. I cry out to you through your mercy, that you shower your mercy on me and help me in this matter. So if you get stuck in your exam or any problem, then read this, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum bi rahmatika astaghith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be there for you. Any problem, anything, you are in tough trouble, turn to Him. Ibn Kathir rahmatullahi alayhi has quoted that beautiful story in Amman yujibul mudtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'a wa yaj'alukum khulafa al-ard ilahum ma'allah qalilan ma tadhakkarun. Allah asked a question before this. قل الحمد لله وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى الله خير أما يشركون. Is Allah better or those idols whom they associate with Allah? And then Allah said, Amman khalaqa as-samawati wal ard. Or is that being better who created the heavens and the earth? And then Amman ja'ala al-arda qararan. Is that being better who made the earth a bedding for you and placed everything that you need on the earth for you? And then he said, Amman yujibul mudtarra idha da'ahu. Are the idols better, or is that being better who responds to the call of the distressed one when he calls upon him? وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ, and removes that calamity and problem and distress. وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ, and who makes you successors and the viceroys and deputies of others on the face of this earth. أَإِلَهُمْ مَعَ اللَّهِ, is there any other God with Allah? قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ, very little do you take heed. So Ibn Kathir narrates under the tafseer of this story that there was a quli, a porter, who used to carry people's goods from one town to another. That was his job. So there were no cars or trucks. So he used to carry on donkeys and camels. So he was taking a large good of one merchant from one city to another city as a laborer. So while he was taking all those animals laden with all the goods, a person, accompanies him and starts talking to him in a friendly manner. He also talks to him. So they come to a crossroad where there are two paths. So the person asked him, where are you going? I'm going so-and-so place. Said, okay, so which route are you taking? I'm taking this route. Oh, this route is too long. This is very short. You'll get there very quickly. Said, no, but I'm familiar with this route. I don't know that route, so I don't want to go there. So he said, but I know it. You come, I'll take you. So he says, okay. So he takes his, caravan in that direction. But they come to a dead end and the person draws his sword. He was a thief. So he said, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to take all these goods from you. He said, no, please. If you want it, then take all that, but leave me alone, spare my life. He said, no, I'm not going to let you go. You will die as well. I will take all this and you will die as well. So the person said, all right, then let me pray 2 rakat namaz. So he took some water, prayed wudu, and he started namaz and he read Surah Fatiha and he was shaking and he didn't know what to read. And he just read these words, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَٰهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. He just read that verse and he was crying, and he knows this is my last namaz, I'm going to die now. And he was reading. The thief said, be quick. You see all those skulls over there, they also wanted to pray namaz, their namaz didn't benefit him. So he kept on praying. In the meantime, a rider approaches very fast on a horse and tackles that burglar, that bandit, finishes him off. This person completes his salah, turns around and asks him, who are you, bhai? How did you come? Where did you come from? And he said, I am the angel of Amman Yujibul Muttarra Idha Da'ahu. When you called, your cry went up to the fourth heaven, and Allah told me to rush immediately to your help. I came to your aid. So, this is when you turn to Allah, you hand your affair over to Allah, Allah rushes to your help, and He is there. We have to have that strong yaqeen of Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'een. Strong from deep down heart. Not just lip service, like some prime minister do when they start their speech. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'een. No, it should be deep down into the heart. And then you, with that firm conviction, you say Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'een. Then see how Allah's help comes. You know, I read somewhere in Hazrat Madani Rahmatullah alayhi kalam that when you're reading in Taraweeh and you feel scared, I'm going to stumble, then when you're reading Surah Fatiha, focus on Iyyaka nasta'een and seek Allah's help in your tilawat as well. That, oh Allah, I'm going to read the next ruku. I don't know where I am. I don't want to stumble. Please help me. Iyyaka nasta'een. Allah will help you, inshallah. You have to have that concentration. So when you focus on what you're reading, turn to Allah, Allah does rush to your help. So this is وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Now, this word has appeared in 6 places in Quran Sharif. Number 1 over here in Surah Fatiha. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Number 2, twice in Surah Al-Baqarah. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. Seek help through sabr and salah. And indeed, this is burdensome except on those who have khushu' and humility in their hearts. And number 2, in the second ruku of second juz, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah inna Allaha ma'as-sabirin. O iman walo, seek help through sabr and salah. Indeed, Allah is with the sabirin. Number 4, in Surah Al-A'raf, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قال موسى لقومه استعينوا بالله واصبروا إن الأرض لله يورثها من يشاء من عباده والعاقبة للمتقين. In the story of Musa and Fir'aun, when Musa alayhi salam had that encounter with the magicians and he threw his staff and the snake swallowed up all their magic and sorcery, the magicians realized that this is not magic. This is something special. This is a miracle, mu'jiza. They believed in Amanna bi Rabbi Musa, Haruna wa Musa. Amanna Rabbil Alameen. They said, we believe in Rabbul Alameen. This is a sign from Allah. We don't believe in Fir'aun as our Rabb. We believe in Allah as our Rabb. So Fir'aun got really angry. And he twisted things around. He killed those magicians. He couldn't kill Musa and Harun alayhi salam because he was terrified. Because if I went to kill him and he threw that staff, the snake would run towards me and eat me up. So he wouldn't touch. He was terrified of Musa alayhi salam. Now, he twisted things around. He killed the magicians. And then he said, because many people started believing in Musa alayhi salam. The Bani Israel believed in Musa alayhi salam, and many Coptics also started, going down that route. So Fir'aun was scared that his kingdom is going to weaken, slacken, and he's going to lose. So he said, I'm going to punish you like you were punished before Musa's birth. And he ordered the soldiers and the army to kill Bani Israel's children and let their women live. And they went on a killing spree. So Bani Israel was scared and they said, oh Musa, what is this? We're getting killed again. And Musa alayhi salam said these words, قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ اسْتَعِينُوا بِاللَّهِ وَاصْبِرُوا. Seek Allah's help and do sabr. إِنَّ الْأَرْضَ لِلَّهِ. The earth, land belongs to Allah. يُورِثُهَا مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. He gives its inheritance to who He wills from His slaves. وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Good ending is for the muttaqeen. So He told them to seek Allah's help only. Don't be scared of Fir'aun. Don't turn to his threats and warnings. Just turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah Yusuf, in the 5th place, when Yusuf alayhi salam is taken away from his father Yaqub alayhi salam, and his brothers come back in the evening, they say a wolf killed Yusuf. So Yaqub alayhi salam was shaken, he started crying. And he said, بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. I'm going to do sabr jameel, and I'm going to seek Allah's help because He is al-musta'an on whatever you do. Musta'an, the one whose help is sought. I seek Allah's help in whatever you're saying. I turn to Him. I know you devised a scheme, you've done something. I can't pinpoint it, but I know you've done something wrong. Yusuf is not dead. He's not been killed. I know for certain. But what else can I do? There's 11 of you. You're all collaborating on one point, and I can't, tackle you. I can't say much. I seek Allah's help. And then in Surah Al-Anbiya, at the end, وَرَبُّنَا الرَّحْمَنُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. Our Rabb is Ar-Rahman, and He is Musta'an on whatever people say and ascribe to Him. So the word istiyanath comes in all these places where we are taught that we should seek help in all matters from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In persecution, torture, whatever happens, if we are scared, at risk, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at Ibrahim alayhi salam. When his clothes were taken off, he was tied in robes, he was put in the catapult, and he was going to be thrown into the huge fire. Jibreel alayhi salam comes, he's shaken, he said, Ibrahim, can I help you? And Ibrahim alayhi salam said, no. The being whose help I need is watching me, seeing me. He's enough for me. So he even refused help from Jibreel alayhi salam. If he was one of us, he said, Chalo ni Jibreel alayhi salam ke but he said, no. And the words he said were, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is enough for us. He is the best disposer of affairs. He is the best wakeel. He is the best lawyer, barrister, solicitor. This is what is drummed into our minds, in our young ones, these boys, throughout your lives. You will need help. Always seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we have the ahadith wherein Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is teaching Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma. Ajib hadith, long hadith. I'll just quote the words which we need over here. Abdullah ibn Abbas is a young boy, maybe he's 11, 12, 13-year-old, 12-year-old, like that young boy sitting here. What's your name? Sulaiman. MashaAllah. So he's like Sulaiman, and he's sitting on the back of a donkey with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the front. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, Ya ghulam, dear son, dear child. And he said, Labbaik ya Rasulullah. Yes, ya Rasulullah, I'm hazir. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inni u'allimuka kalimat. I'm going to teach you a few sentences. Listen carefully. Ihfazillaha yahfazka. Be mindful of Allah. Allah will look after you. Ihfazillaha tajidhu tujahaka. Be mindful of Allah. You will find Him ahead of you. إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. When you ask from Allah. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. When you seek help from Allah. تعرف إلى الله في الرخاء يعرفك في الشدة. Introduce yourself to Allah in good times and He will know you in tough times. واعلم أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك. And know that if the whole world was to get together and benefit you, they cannot benefit you except with that which Allah has written in your taqdeer. وَلَوْ اجْتَمَعَتْ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَضُرُّوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَضُرُّوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. And if they were to collaborate to harm you, they cannot harm you except with that which Allah has written for you. رُفِعَتِ الْأَقْلَامِ وَجَفَّتِ الصُّحُفِ. The pen has been lifted and the paper has dried out. Lawh Mahfuz. In another riwayat he said, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ النَّصْرَ مَعَ الصَّبْرِ. And know that Allah's help is with patience. وَأَنَّ الْفَرَجَ مَعَ الْكَرْبِ. And that relief is with anxiety. وَأَنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. And with hardship there is ease. Beautiful hadith. So the words we need to understand here are إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. When you want to ask something, ask from Allah. And when you want to seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, احرص على ما ينفعك واستعن بالله ولا تعجز. Be eager on those things which benefit you. Seek Allah's help and do not become disabled. Do your best. So he's trying to teach us that don't be a dodo. Don't just be lazy and say, oh, Landi Manjur hai. No. Do your best. If it's your exams, try your best, work hard, go over everything, make sure you've done your bit. If it's job, business, anything, do your best, go for the interview. Do your homework before you go for the interview. Know what questions they're going to ask you. Wear good clothing, make your appearance good. And then go to the interview. So make sure outwardly everything is proper. This is being eager in whatever you do to get the best outcome, to get the best results. He taught us this because once a case was brought before him between two people. He listened to both cases and then he judged in favor of one. Now the one against whom the judgment was passed said, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I also say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, but you should have presented your case properly and then you should have said Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. You didn't bring your witnesses. You didn't put forward your argument properly. What am I to do? He put forward his argument in a better manner. He had his witnesses. He's done his homework. He won the case. So why are you saying this now? You should have done your homework properly. So he taught us that this dunya is darul asbab, a world of means. We have to take up the means and then put our trust in Allah and seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the meaning of these beautiful words. Ihris ala ma yanfa'uk. Be haris and eager for everything that benefits you. I want the best in this world. And then you say to Allah, oh Allah help me. Wasta'in billah. Wala ta'jaz. And do not become disheartened, sit down, lazy, and say, oh, jo hoga hoga. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. No. That's not the right attitude. That's an attitude problem. That's why he said, فَإِنْ أَصَابَكَ شَيْءٌ فَلَا تَقُلْ لَوْ. If even in spite of doing everything right, You did everything. You did your outward asbab, means, homework, mashwara, istikhara, everything you did. You sought Allah's help. But then still, you did not get that favorable outcome. And something happened, some calamity, problem came. Then فَلَا تَقُلْ لَوْ لَوْ أَنِّي فَعَلْتُ كَذَا وَكَذَا. Don't say, oh, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. Because law, I wish, opens up the door of shaitan. فَإِنَّ لَوْ تَفْتَحُ عَمَلَ الشَّيْطَانِ. It opens up the devil's craftsmanship. He starts working on your brain, and then he puts waswasas and whispers in your mind, and you keep thinking about that, and you're crying and you get depressed, and you have bad thoughts, and maybe you might lose your connection with Allah, and you'll start objecting on Allah. Why didn't Allah help me? Why didn't Allah do this for me? This is how shaitan is going to drag you in that direction. So he said, work hard, seek Allah's help, and even then if you fail, then say no problem. Be happy, content with whatever happened. Don't start saying low. I wish I did that, I wish I did that. Because low and I wish starts to open up the door of shaitan. Don't let the door of shaitan open up in your mind. Just drive him away. Put your trust in Allah. If you didn't succeed in one area, go for another business, a third one, a fourth one. Inshallah, you'll succeed one day. So this is the meaning of istiyanath billah. Now, seeking help from Allah, Khaliq, at all times. Sometimes we need to seek help from some makhluk as well. Shariat has allowed that. Where the makhluk has the qudrat and ability to help you, you should seek their help. This is in the Quran. Surah Al-Kahf, Zulqarnain story. Yajuj, Majuj were coming from that side to this side. So the people said, we are fed up with them. Please make a barrier, a wall between us and them. So he said, okay, I'll do that. And what did he say? قَالَ مَا مَكَّنِّي فِيهِ رَبِّي خَيْرٌ فَأَعِينُونِي بِقُوَّةٍ أَجْعَلْ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ رَدْمًا. Help me, assist me with your strength. We will make a wall and a barrier between you and them. So he himself said, فَأَعِينُونِي, I need your help. Because this dunya is a world of means. We need people's help. He sought people's help. So seeking help from makhluk is allowed where they have the ability to help you. Also, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in the hadith of Muslim, Wallahu fi awni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi awni akhihi. Allah remains in the aid of a person as long as that person is in the aid of his Muslim brother or real brother. If you help your friend, your brother, your mother, your father, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your auntie, your grandpa, your grandma, if you help them, you do something for them, then as long as you are busy in doing something for them, Allah is busy in helping you. Allah's help comes towards you. That means we have to help one another among ourselves. And we can ask for help from one another. Like I said to Ayub, can you please get me my iPad from there when starting this? So this is seeking help from Ayub. So Ayub quickly rushed and brought it from me. If I was to say to Suleiman, give me a glass of water. So this is seeking help because he's got the ability to do that. So this is allowed. There's no harm in there. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to seek this type of help from the Sahaba. When he would go over istinja, he would say to the Sahabi who's with him, bring me some stones for wiping myself. So the Sahabi would go around, rush and look and bring 3 stones, and then Prophet ﷺ would go at a distance and then do istinja. Sometimes they would carry water with him for wudu. So he's seeking help, taking help from others. Aisha radiallahu anha says that when Rasulullah ﷺ would be in my place, I would prepare his wudu water and miswak water for him at night, and I place it, and he knows where I've put it. Because there was no taps, no running water in their homes. So he doesn't have to go and find the large container and take water from there into the small container. Aisha radiallahu anha would keep everything ready from night. So when he wakes up for tahajjud, the water for miswak is there, the water for wudu is there as well. This is helping. So this type of seeking help, Sahaba used to come and seek help from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sahabi comes, Ya Rasulullah, I am a slave. My master has made a contract with me, made me a mukatab. If I pay him so much amount, then he will free me. Can you please help me? And Prophet ﷺ said, yes, okay, we will help you. And Prophet ﷺ helps Sayyiduna Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu, and he gets free. So this type of assistance where a makhluk has the ability to do something and we seek their help, that it is allowed, there's no harm in that. Now, Hazrat Maulana Idris Kandalvi rahmatullahi alayhi mentions, goes into great detail over here about istiyanath. And he says that istiyanath and seeking help is not haram at all times. Sometimes it's haram, sometimes it's shirk, but other times it's halal, it's jaiz, it's allowed. Now you would have understood that from the conclusion which I have just mentioned, that those matters in which only Allah has the ability to do something, you will have to seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Hazrat Maulana explains over here that, let's say for example, our creation, breathing life into us, our giving us children, jobs, removing our problems, calamities, only Allah can do this. So we seek this type of help from Allah alone. Make du'as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we were to go to someone else, like na'udhu billah, to a mandir, and ask that idol, wipe hands on the idol and say to the idol that you help me, this is shirk. So this is istiyanath bi ghayrillah, in something which only Allah can do. And this is, he puts it, that you think of someone as fa'il mustaqil bizzat, which is only Allah. The doer who does things, but he is mustaqil bizzat, he has full authority. Number two, sometimes people don't take someone as mustaqil bizzat, but they take it as mustaqil bil ata, meaning Allah has gifted them with something by which they do things. Mushrikeen used to do this type of shirk as well. When they would be asked, why do you go to those idols? And they say, Allah has given them some ikhtiyarat and some options and choices, so they do things for us by the giving of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they would say, this idol is for giving children, this idol is for money, this idol is for removing problem, this idol is for this idol is for that. They would have various idols. In their homes, they would have multiple idols. And for this, they would turn to this, for that, this one, for that, this one. So they say, Allah Pak, they are not mustaqil, but Allah has given them some options. Now, if among our Muslims, if someone was to believe in this manner, that Allah has given these types of ikhtiyarat and options to someone, that would also be classed as shirk. Like some people believe regarding some awliya. They go to the qabr and graves of some wali, and they say to them, give me a child, give me a job, give me money. If you were to ask them, why do you ask, that wali? He said, oh, he's got great powers. Allah gives him powers and he gives and he distributes. And this type of aqeedah and belief, it becomes shirk. Because this is exactly the same as what the mushrik used to do. They didn't say these idols, are mustaqil bil dhat. They say mustaqil bil ata, bil arz. Allah has given them powers. So you are doing the same thing, that Allah has given the power to this sahib-e-qabr and this wali, whether it is, he might be a great wali of Allah, like Hazrat Pirane Pir, rahmatullahi alayhi, Hazrat Khaja Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri, or Baba Fariduddin Ganshakar, rahmatullahi alayhi. They were great awliyaullah in their times. But they died, they went in their qabrs. But people slowly start doing all bidats and innovations, and they make these things up. And they, shaitan, whispers these beliefs in their minds that they have powers, you ask from them. And because these types of grave worshippers are very close to the idol worshippers, So many times you will see there is so many similarities between the idol worshippers and grave worshippers. So this is why Sharia classes grave worship as shirk, and seeking help from the Sahib Qabr as shirk. This type of istiyanath is not allowed. Do you understand the both things? Number one, where you think someone is mustaqil bizat and he's a God and he does things, or you think that he's not mustaqil bizat, he's not God, but God has given him some rights and options and ikhtiyarat and choices, and he can do whatever he wants. So this is also classed as shirk. Number three, he says that sometimes a person does not believe that someone is mustaqil bizat and he has full authority in himself, or mustaqil bil ata, through a gift from Allah, but he treats them as though they might have some ikhtiyara. He behaves in that manner, like the Christians, many of them, prostrate in front of the Pope, lie down in front of the Pope. You will have seen some photos of nuns, completely lying down, and they are all around him, and they are behaving with him like he's a mustaqil bizat. Though they don't believe that he's got powers to do things, but they are behaving in this manner. So they have other kufriya aqaid, but I'm just explaining with an example. If a Muslim was to do that to someone, whether to some sheikh, some ustad, sometimes, bowing down completely. Last week I told you about bowing down in karate. Someone got mixed up and he asked me, Maulana Sahab, but sometimes people do, bow down and kiss the hand as well for mashayikh. I said that little bit of, it might not be. What it is complete bowing down. And with that intention of like sort of worshipping, and in that type of, that would be wrong and kufriya shirkiya. So if it was just a little bit, and the hand was up as well, and you kissed your father's hand, your mother's hand, your sheikh's hand, then that would be understandable. But this is where it's completely like that ruku type, and you fully go down like you're doing ruku, that would not be allowed. So anyway, if someone doesn't think of someone as mustaqil bizat, but behaves with them, treats them like they are mustaqil bizat. Like, for example, they make a mannat and nazar in their name. Data sahab ke naam ki mannat or nazar. If this happens, then I will give one bakra in the name of Data sahab. So you are treating him like someone who is mustaqil bizat. You should do that mannat and that oath and that vow for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if this happens, I will do this for the sake of Allah, not for the sake of this person. This is treating them in this manner. This behavior is haram, not allowed. But we can't say it's shirki i'tiqadi. It can be shirki amali, but not i'tiqadi. This is one of this Kandalwi Sahib writes. Shirki amali, practical shirk. It's a behavior of mushrikana shirkiya, but it's not shirk in belief, because the person's belief is not that he is mustaqil bizat, but he is behaving with that person in a manner that if a person feels that he thinks he is mustaqil bizat. And then sometime, number 4, he says, sometime, number 4, isti'anat bil ghayr, in such a manner that there might be, some iham, wahm, and suspicion of thinking they are mustaqil bizat. That was the treatment. This is not treatment, but some other way. Maulana Idris Kandalwi Sahib gives this example like seeking help from ruhaniyat, spirits. People believe the spirits can help, and they do things for the spirits to come and help them. Just today, you must have heard in the news on BBC, in London, in some park, this person named Daniel Hussein, he killed 2 sisters who were in the party finished and people were returning, but these 2 sisters did not return home, and it was late at night. So the parents were alarmed and they informed police. So after 2 days, someone found their glasses and a knife somewhere in the park. And when the police went for a search, they found 2 bodies in the bushes. And they found the killer. His name was Daniel Hussein. The name is Islamic, but he's not a Muslim. He's a Satanist. He did that because he was told that if he was to take the blood of 2 individual human beings, then the spirits will help him to win the lottery. So he wanted to win the lottery to seek the help of those spirits, and the spirits will come and help him to win the lottery. So this is seeking help from Ruhaniyat. First of all, he wasn't a Muslim. His name sounds Muslim, but he's not Muslim. He's a Satanist because he declared it. He was only 19-year-old, and he was under the surveillance of police. And at the age of 15, he had done something, and police were after him anyway. So he was into this type of Scientology and these types of beliefs, and many youngsters fall into these things, and they go out of the fold of Islam. May Allah protect our youngsters. So to seek these types of help by thinking that they are mustaqil bizat, or behaving in a manner in which there is suspicion and wahm and doubt that you might be thinking that, is also haram. And it could lead to shirk because of, if the person started believing that is really, that thing is mustaqil bizat, he will become mushrik in aqidah as well. So these is 4 types of istiyanath which Hazrat Maulana has mentioned over here. And then he explains what I just said a few minutes earlier, that those matters which are within the ability of human beings and within alam of asbab and means, then we are able to take up those means. Like I said, asking someone to get my iPad from me or a glass of water from me, there is no harm in there. And he explains that asbab are of 2 types: asbab adiyya and asbab shar'iyya. Asbab adiyya, normal means, regular means. So we have to seek help from regular means. Like with bread, we can remove our hunger. With water, we can remove our thirst. With medicine, we can remove our sickness. So we have to take up these means. We have to go to the doctor. We don't think that the doctor is God. We don't think that he's mustaqil bizat, he's going to give me shifa. We know that he is only a sabab and a means. He will analyze my case and he will, think what is the best medicine. He will give me, and Allah will give me shifa. He's not going to give me shifa. So these types of asbab adiyya, we are allowed to take up these means, which are called adatan asbab. Number 2, asbab shar'iyya. Asbab shar'iyya, which Shariat says that this is a sabab. For example, dua, sadaqah, sabr, salat. These are all asbab shar'iyya. Shariat says that you can't take ruqyah. So if you go to someone for ruqyah, no problem. Shariat said it's allowed. Even ta'weez, small children, elders should not wear ta'weez, but small children are put on ta'weez, it's allowed. Sharia, we can go into that subject. So seeking help through ruqyah, seeking help through ta'weez, wearing something, Qurani ayat or something in which there is no shirkiyya, anything, only words of Allah, ayatul kursi, words of hifazat, and you wear them for protection, is perfectly okay, it's halal, it's jaiz, it's allowed. And du'as and sabr and salat, which Sharia says that these are means by which you can seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it's allowed. These will be called means. See? And in other words, wasila. Now we're going on to another subject of tawassul, wasila. Dua is a wasila. Ruqya is a wasila. Sabr is a wasila. Salat is a wasila. A'mal salihah are wasail, wasilas. Do you remember that hadith of those 3 who were trapped in the cave and they made dua through the wasila of their amal? One mentioned the khidmat of his parents, the other mentioned his chastity, the third mentioned his honesty and giving payment properly to the laborer. And these were good deeds. Through the means of these good deeds, Allah accepted their dua and opened up the way for them. So one is tawassul bil a'mal salihah, asking Allah through the means of some good deed which you had Done. And another is tawassul bis salihin, seeking means to Allah through some salihin. Now remember, who are we asking? Allah. But through the means of a pious personality. That, oh Allah, this person is very pious, he is neck, he is so pious. Because of him, do this for me. You shower your rahmah. Hazrat Maulana Shabli Thani wrote that this means that, oh Allah, you are showering your rahmah on him, so give us a few drops as well and do this for us too. This is seeking, making dua through the means of a pious personality. That is also allowed. It's in the hadith. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يستفتح بصعاليك المهاجرين. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to seek Allah's help in victory through the poor migrants. Because the poor, bichara, kamzor, faqir, weak, muhajirin, who are in one area making dua, supplicating to Allah, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would respect them, value them. And he would say, Allah, bichare ye gharib miskin muhajir hain, inki barakat se hame ladai mein fatah nasib kar dijiye. Give us victory in the battle because of these fuqara muhajirin. Asking Allah through the means of those. And this is in Mishkatul Masabi. And this is in Quran, وَكَانُوا مِن قَبْلُ يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And this is in Sahih al-Bukhari, when Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a small child and there was drought. Abu Talib brought this small child and made him stand near the door of Kaaba, and he said, oh Allah, due to the barakat of this child, give us rain. Immediately clouds came and rain started. And he mentioned this in his poetry, وَأَبْيَضَ يُسْتَسْقَى الْغَمَامُ بِوَجْهِهِ ثِمَارُ الْيَتَامَى عِصْمَةٌ لِلْأَرَامِلِ. Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, during his time there was a drought. He went out with people and he made dua. And long du'as and long du'as. And at the end he said, Allahumma inna kunna natawassalu ilayka bi nabiyyika fatasqina wa inna natawassalu ilayka bi ammi nabiyyika fasqina. Oh Allah, we used to ask you through the means of your prophet and you would give us rain. Now we asked you through the means of the uncle of your prophet Abbas. Oh Allah, because of his barakat, give us rain. And rain came. This is wasila through pious personalities. It's allowed. There's no harm. It doesn't go against wa iyyaka nasta'in. You are allowed, is perfectly okay. It's jaiz. When something is jaiz, then we should not have hesitation regarding it. We should not label it as shirk. Because labeling something as shirk is also a fiqhi Islamic jurisprudence matter. Not everybody has the ability to call it kufr and shirk. It will be up to the muftiyan kiram and the ulama to say what is shirk and what is not shirk. When the ulama have said, Quran Hadith have said this is not shirk, it won't be shirk. So this is a little bit of explanation of wa iyyaka nasta'in. Do we understand everything? We understand from the beginning that wa iyyaka nasta'in, we should seek help only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the meaning of help, assistance, sometimes necessary, sometimes additional, extra, which is tawfiq and easiness and urging to get making us do something. Both types of assistances which are necessary and which are an aid and support and encouragement, we need both from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Quran puts great stress and emphasis on seeking help from Allah through the 6 ayat which we mentioned. The hadith also puts great emphasis on this. And the benefit of seeking help from Allah is 3 benefits we mentioned. Do you remember? Humbling ourselves, showing our humility to Allah, handing over our affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and trusting Him and believing Him that He is sufficient for me, He will do it for me. And then we explained that istiyanath is of various types. Some types are shirk, others are haram, and others are jaiz and allowed. Shirk is when you think that someone is mustaqil bizzat, he's got the full authority to do things. Or number 2, when you feel that he doesn't have the full authority by himself, but Allah has given him some authorities by which he does things. These both categories are shirk. And number 3, 4, where you behave with someone as though they might have authorities, or you behave in a manner which gives the impression that you think they have authorities. This is haram, but it won't be shirki i'tiqadi, it will be shirki بعمله. And where there are asbab and you only treat someone as a sabab and a means, then it will be allowed. And asbab are of two types: asbab adiyya and asbab shar'iyya. Asbab adiyya, where you ask from the doctor or someone to help you in your worldly affairs, in your matters every day, day-to-day life. And asbab shar'iyya, where shariat allows. This is allowed, this is okay for you, you can do this, you can ask dua, you can make ruqya, you can take ta'weez, you can take wasila of someone. These asbab are allowed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the dua through these asbabs and mean. The help is sought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but these are just means, so it's perfectly okay and allowed. This is meaning of وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمَ. We'll read next week. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. परवरदिगार आलम, टूटा फूटा पढ़ना पढ़ाना कबूल फरमाइए या अल्लाह, हमारी सारी मुश्किलात आसान फरमाइए अल्लाह। अल्लाहुम्मा इन्ना नस्तईनुका व नस्तगफिरुका व नुमिनु बिका व नतवक्कलु अलैका व नुस्नी अलैका अल खैर कुल्ला नशकुरुका व ला नकफुरुक व नखलउ व नतरुकु मन यफजुरुक। अल्लाहुम्मा इय्याका नअबुदु व लका नुसल्ली व नसजुद व इलैका नसआ व नहफिद नरजू रहमतक व नखशा अज़ाबक इन्न अज़ाबक अल जिद्द बिल गुफ़ार मुल्हिक़। Ya Arhamar Rahimin, give us complete reliance and trust on you, turn to you and ask you for help and assistance in all our affairs and matters, dini and dunyavi and ukhravi, and turn to you. Oh Allah, help us in everything, assist us, support us, take care of us, protect us, have mercy upon us, accept our humble dua, be pleased with us. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.